Hi friends, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Agnes and I am a data scientist living in Kochi. So in this video, I'll be sharing a few tips on how to learn data science in 2023. So on this channel, I make videos about, I used to make a lot of lifestyle videos. I was just experimenting with different topics. And since I am a data scientist, I also made a lot of data science videos, not a lot, a few. And my data science videos are comparatively doing well. So I feel like there's a lot of questions, there's a lot of people looking to get some answers, and a lot of people getting to trying to get into tech and especially data science. So I thought, why not make a few videos that might help you from my experience. So let's get started. I started learning data science back in 2018 when I decided to join my master's. From then, in 2019, I got my first internship, and in 2020, I got my first data science job. And recently, a few months back, I switched to my second data science job. So, before getting into the video, I have to tell you that this is based on my personal experience, and data science is such a new field, and every company has their own structure around data science jobs. A lot of the job descriptions in data science is very vague and so different from company to company. So far from my experience, I feel like there are a few types of data scientists. For example, there are data scientists who focus on experimental design and running experiments, A/B tests, things like that. They are mostly from product-based companies, and they will be monitoring, or they'll be working with marketing team or sales team of a specific product. There are data scientists who build dashboards and use a lot of SQL. There are also a group of data scientists who use machine learning and model building and deep learning. So I come from the third group. I use a lot of machine learning in my work. I build models. I use a lot of NLP, computer vision, and build applications which leverages data science and AI. A lot of my experience is from this perspective. So my background is in totally in computer science and engineering. So that's probably why I ended up on this path. If you're a graduate in statistics, you might end up on more experiment based data science. One more thing, I'm not a senior data scientist. I'm still in my entry levels of my career, and my knowledge is limited to an extent. So when you start learning data science, your domain or your background matters a lot, because if you already have a coding background, if you're a software developer, or if you have an engineering degree, then you already know the basics of coding. It will be easy for you to pick up. Otherwise, it's fine because you have a lot of resources. First, get into coding, learn one programming language. That's the first main skill. So I would prefer Python. That's my choice. And I have seen in both of the companies that I work, Python was the main language they were using. So Python. And R is also one of the main languages. R is mainly used in academic settings, and I haven't seen a lot of companies using R, but if they are in research, they might be using R. For me, programming languages are like, once you learn the fundamentals, it is easy to pick up any programming language. So don't worry about it. Learn the fundamentals and build something with one programming language. Study one programming language, and then you can pick up anything that comes your way later. So start with Python. Now if you go online, you will be seeing a lot of articles and a lot of things saying that you need a bunch of skills. There's a list of like 20 skills that you need, but I think once you gain the fundamental skills, you can go and look at the job descriptions. So for example, if you want to work in Google, say, if you want to work in a specific company, go and look at their data science job descriptions, see what their requirements are. set them as your goals, because every company approaches data science in a different way these days, because it's very young and it's very, job descriptions are not correct when you go online. Once you gain the fundamental skills, you can iterate and you can upskill after that. So once you learn Python, you can maybe get hired as a Python developer, and on the job you can learn data science or explore opportunities in that company and switch like that. That's one option. You can maybe add SQL and maybe a Tableau or some business intelligence BI tools, and then you can apply for data analyst roles, and then gradually you can pick up machine learning and deep learning and so on. So there are many approaches to this. So next skill is SQL. A lot of data scientists say that SQL is very important if they are working on mainly on the analytical side. If that's the case, SQL is very important. But to be honest, I haven't used SQL in any of my job. My first job was a research job, and we were building, we would build prototypes for complicated problems, and it was application, so they don't use SQL. My current job also, it's a startup, so I'll have to dabble a little with everything and I have more freedom. But there also I'm currently doing some model building, doing some speech processing, image processing, NLP tasks. So SQL depends on the job, but most of the companies ask you SQL questions when you go for the interview, especially analytics companies like Ad Company or Tiger. They might ask you a lot of SQL. It depends on the job. So SQL is kind of the fundamental skill sets of data science. So learn SQL. Next one is exploratory data analysis. So this is what you mostly see in Kaggle, and I really like this part. When you get some messy data, you try to make sense of it using a few libraries, a few statistical methods. So a few libraries you will have to get familiar with are like Pandas, NumPy, Matplotlib, Seaborn, libraries like that. So the next one is BI tools or business intelligence tools, and there are many of them: Looker, Tableau, Power BI. So I learned Tableau on my own because I'm more on the machine learning side, so I have never used Tableau. But when I interviewed for analytics companies, they asked me if I know Tableau or Power BI or anything. So if you like visualization and if you are planning to apply for jobs like that, you have to learn in one of these tools and maybe a little bit of design principles. There are a few courses online about design for data visualization and things like that. I think there's a course under Coursera's Google Analytics certificate, data analytics certificate, so you can take that. Next one is machine learning. When it comes to machine learning, I actually started in machine learning. I had a machine learning course in university, and that's how I got interested in data science in the first place. When it comes to machine learning, you have to understand all the fundamentals and the main models like recommendation models, like decision trees, sklearn library, things like that, and regression, classification, supervised learning, unsupervised learning, all that. Those will come under the basic fundamentals of machine learning. So the course I took was Andrew Ng's, the original machine learning course, which was on Coursera. It was in Octave, but the theory was amazing. Now deeplearning.ai has a specialization in machine learning, which is updated, which is really nice. Before going into that course, you might want to understand a little bit of math, a little bit of basics of linear algebra, calculus, and stuff like that. So there's a course on Coursera called Fundamentals of Mathematics. I don't remember the name correctly. I'll link it in the description. So that's a really good course. It teaches you enough to understand machine learning algorithms. So that's enough. And then you can go and take deep learning AI specialization or just read about machine learning algorithms and see, try to understand how they work. Actually, in industry, there are a lot. Some algorithms are very famous, so you understand how algorithms works and maybe test them out using sklearn. Just build simple models. You can also go on Kaggle and find some data sets and maybe build something you really like in a domain that you really like. Now, when it comes to deep learning, a lot of projects that come our way has problems that can be solved with deep learning or computer vision, and they are really heavily used. When it comes to deep learning, a lot of algorithms, I used to use libraries like Spacy, GenSim, NLTK, etc. And when it comes to deep learning, a lot of algorithms are already pre-trained because these things take a lot of resource and time. So Hugging Face has a lot of pre-trained models and you can use them directly and see how they perform. They are mostly NLP models. And when it comes to computer vision, you might have to get familiar with OpenCV. It's so much fun just going online and just trying out building different things. NLP and machine learning is kind of if you are looking for a job in the analytics side of data science, then stick with experiment design and statistics. So, or if you like building things and if you like the engineering part of it, then study deep learning and NLP. For deep learning, you'll have to get familiar with PyTorch, TensorFlow. Also, one course that I would suggest is again the specialization, deep learning specialization from deeplearning.ai. It's a really good course. There's also a playlist from MIT on YouTube and I'll link it down below, and it's really good. It gives you an abstract idea about deep learning and the recent advancements. So it's a really good course. I'll link it down below. When you work in something like deep learning or machine learning or data science, you'll have to learn a lot of new things on a day-to-day basis, and you will need some kind of organization and research skills. So you will need to record when you work on a project, you will have to try a lot of different things and you'll have to track everything. You will need some of those skills, but you will develop that eventually because otherwise you won't be able to perform. So then another unique set of skills that a data scientist would need is communication and storytelling skills. This is for people who present to stakeholders, who are more on the analytical side. They might need to look at data and make insights and give suggestions that might help the business. Communication skills are very important. Storytelling is also very important for a data scientist. So communication skills are extremely important because you always collaborate with a group of engineers, designers, and you always work in a team. If you are a data scientist, most probably. So you need communication skills in every job in tech. Abstract thinking. This is something I realized because most of these projects have like a complex architecture and you have to see it in a big abstract level to see how every system fits together. So abstract thinking is something you should develop to become a data scientist, and it helps a lot. Another set of skills are Linux. You have to know how to work with Linux environment and Linux systems because mostly we use Linux. You have to know clean coding practices, and a lot of data scientists don't really know how to follow the normal rules, but you have to know coding practices because your code should be readable and somewhat efficient because you're handling a lot of data. You have to know a little bit of data structure and algorithms, but in interviews they don't ask you a lot about DSA, but when you work with a lot of data, knowing DSA will definitely help. I have seen instances where that has made a big difference. I hadn't learned statistics during my first job. I learned statistics when I was job hunting for my second job. So I learned it from a course on 365 data science, and there's also a course on Coursera which is pretty long. I think it's from Stanford. I'll link all the resources that I used in the description. So I think that's a pretty good course for data scientists. And statistics is not something I use in a day-to-day basis, but some data scientists do use. You can always specialize in an area that you find interesting, so try it and see if it interests you. Then comes deployment. So this is something, when I used to work in research, I didn't have to handle deployment, and there was a separate team. Especially in bigger companies, there will be a separate team. But when it comes to my startup job, I have to handle deployment also. So we use AWS for deployment, AWS Amazon SageMaker. Some people use GCP, and I have done an analysis on Kaggle. I'll maybe link the notebook also in the description. You can check that out. Create graphs for different languages, resources, and deployment cloud technologies that are used by data scientists. And this is based on the Kaggle's survey. So it might give you a good idea about which deployment technique to select. So then comes experiment designs like A/B testing. So I haven't done it, but it's something I really want to learn, and I'm actually doing a course again on 365 data science. In my work, I haven't done experiment design. So a few common tips that I would give you are like, learn the basic fundamentals and try to do a project and iterate. When you feel like you're stuck, go back and learn about it and iterate. That's the best way, because data science is this job that needs a lot of various skill sets. You may not get time to finish all of these and then apply for jobs. You'll lose a lot of time. But once you can learn a lot of things on the job, and once you know the fundamentals, you just look at the job descriptions and look at the companies that you want to apply and prepare based on that. That's the only way where we can define a scope. There are a few other areas like MLOps, AI ethics, data engineering, ETL. I'm not familiar with any of it so far, but these are more of advanced topics. And if you want to become a data engineer, you have to go that route. And MLOps is also somewhat of an advanced topic, but eventually when you progress in your career, you have to pick it up. But if you're a beginner or a fresher, I don't think you have to dive deep into MLOps, or you can just know it on an abstract level. Otherwise, I don't think you need to learn all these things and then appear for interviews. You just try something and build something and learn that way. That's the best approach in my opinion. If you can, take a structured course, because otherwise it's very easy to procrastinate and it's very easy to get demotivated. So if you can get a structured course and learn consistently, set a specific focus time to learn every day or every week, and just build things and publish them on your GitHub or write blogs on Medium and show your work to people. You can stay interested in data science through working in a domain that interests you. For example, sports analytics, nutrition analysis. What else? There are a lot of areas. If you like economics, get some domain knowledge in that and build solutions that utilize that domain knowledge. That way you will be interested and you won't get bored. Otherwise, data science can get pretty daunting sometimes, and don't just go after data science for the money. And when you are a fresher, you may not get that much money. I didn't. I was just getting a normal fresher salary, which was pretty low. Once I switched to my job, I got a pretty good hike, but it's nothing like the 30 lakh 40 lakh CTC that you see on these YouTube videos. It's not always the case. Is always not like that. There's a lot of competition, and a lot of people are learning new things and upskilling themselves. Everybody can learn if they have the will and focus and consistency. When you're learning something new, be aware of your mental health and your priorities in life. See if the tasks you're doing align with your values. So start with coding, start with basics of statistics, machine learning, and iterate your way up. And I think that's the best approach. So that's all for today. Merry Christmas, all of you. You might have seen I have a bandage on my hand because I got a goodies box from office and I opened it. It was a can and it cut my finger. That's why I have a bandage. Totally unnecessary anyway. If you like the video, subscribe to my channel, hit like and comment your thoughts. I am planning to make a bunch of videos on data science. It's basically my experience and my personal opinion, and I hope it provides value to someone who is watching this channel. Thank you for watching. Bye for today. See you in the next video.